Fake Mike.
Caught it. Oh, shit.
Caught it.
We.
We need to get a new beverage. I'm only gonna sit left, so I might have to sneak out. Yeah.
This guy just spilled his drink. All right, guys. Awesome way to start the audit.
I'm awake now.
How's everyone doing today? We'll give you guys a few moments to tune in. Please hit the like button. We'll be answering questions today about any audits that you've seen this week, or anything that you want to talk about. We also have some spicy things to go over with you guys about the First Amendment.
And I got some interesting quotes.
Also, if you're interested in supporting veterans, you can go to the soap guy right here.
That's right, guys. You want some clean, all-natural soap made by veterans. Percentage goes to help veterans, and a percentage goes to help me. So go to herosoapcompany.com/Fake Mike Real News, and when you check out, use the promo code Fake Mike Real News. You're helping veterans, you're helping me, you're helping the less fortunate, and you're getting an all-natural product. You're gonna buy soap anyways, might as well buy it with good old Fake Michael. So herosoapcompany.com/Fake Mike, promo code Fake Mike.
Hashtag Fake Mike
That's
Real
right,
Soap.
guys. Fake Mike Real Soap, guys. This ain't no BS corporate GMO soap, guys.
What's going on, Twyla? Thank you for being here. Guys, smash that like button on your way in.
Yeah, I'll definitely get to your questions and stuff, but I want to start today with a few quotes that I think are important. Good quotes, bad quotes. I'd like to wait till we get over 100, so if you guys should share the video.
Yes, guys, share.
I appreciate that, so we get the word out to as many people as possible.
Share this live stream. Hit the like button. That'll help us out.
That's right, real soap, guys. None of that fake stuff. All right, let's get serious here, guys. I'm gonna start it off. Let's see if you guys, if you're just joining, smack the like, find Auditing America on Instagram, Auditing America News on Cash App, Auditing America on TikTok, Auditing America on Facebook, Auditing America on all platforms.
Everywhere.
All right, so the first couple quotes that I'm gonna be getting into today are here from, and if Theo's in the house, eyes on the audit, let me know, come up in the chat. I wanna give you a wrench, a whisk, actually. All right, so we're gonna start with a couple quotes from David Rockefeller's book, Memoirs, which is an autobiography written in 2002. Rest in peace. F in the chat for David Rockefeller, guys. Maybe not. All right, so here's a couple quotes from his book here. This is page 113 from David Rockefeller's 2002 autobiography entitled Memoirs. It was in Algiers that I first became friends with William Paley, the founder of CBS, who ran the psychological warfare department. That's right, you read it correctly, guys. David Rockefeller met William Paley in Algiers, who was the founder of CBS, Columbia Broadcasting, with the all-seeing eye.
Get it? CBS.
That's what you're watching, a whole bunch of BS. You're seeing BS. And so the guy that went on to fund CBS used to run the psychological warfare department for the Army. And also interesting because NBC, one of the other channels during that time, and there was ABC too. ABC famous for covering up for Jeffrey Egg salad and lying about weapons of mass destruction. But also, interestingly enough, NBC is located at 30 Rockefeller Plaza. You don't say. All right, page 162. Bill Zeckendorf sold my father the land on which the United Nations built its headquarters. So the United Nations, the superstructure for world government, the current world government that we're living under, Rockefeller land. Weird, huh? All right, let's skip ahead to page 406, Memoirs. Now, this is from David Rockefeller's own mouth. I'd like to see what you guys have to say about this here. Some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. That's the charge. I'm guilty, and I'm proud of it. Dave Rockefeller's own mouth, page 406 of his own book, he says, some even believe we're part of a secret cabal. I believe that. Working against the best interests of the United States. Yep. Characterizing me and my family as internationalists, with conspiring with others around the world to create a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world. One world, David Rockefeller says. If that's the charge, I'm guilty and I'm proud of it. Also on page 411, Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, who was a Nazi, convened the first conference in 1954 at the urging of Joseph Redinger. And they're talking about Bilderberg Group. So you have Rockefellers, the Rothschild, the Royal Family of England, the Royal Family of the Netherlands, two Nazis. One Joseph Redinger, right? The other Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands. And then you have Zbigniew Brzezinski, then teaching at Columbia University, was a guest, a Bilderberg guest that year. And his daughter, Brzezinski, is now on Morning Joe. Also, now I'm going to go ahead and read you a quote from the Anglo-American Establishment. It's one of the most powerful books I've ever read in my life. And this is actually from the back cover. I'll read a few here from inside. But this is the back cover of this book. And what he's talking about here is the furtherance of this group. We're talking about in the 1800s, or late 1800s, early 1900s, when the group consisted of people like Alfred Milner, Cecil Rhodes, the Rothschilds, and so forth. And Carroll Quigley is no conspiracy theorist. He is a Harvard-trained Georgetown professor and historian and author who was the mentor to Bill Clinton. So this guy is very well respected, or was, or maybe still is. No country that values its safety should allow what the Milner Group accomplished. That is, a small number of men would be able to wield such power in administration and politics, should be given almost complete control of the publication of documents relating to the actions, should be able to exercise such influence over the avenues of information that create public opinion, and should be able to monopolize so completely the writing and the teaching of the history of their own period. So he's talking about something that I always say, a small number of men wielding power in politics, publication of the documents of the actions, information of public opinion, and completely monopolize the writing and the teaching of the history. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay, now page 33, if you're scoring at home, Cecil Rhodes, Carroll Quigley's book, The Anglo-American Establishment. This proves everything here, right here, guys. The secret society of Cecil Rhodes, who is a racist, is mentioned in the first 5 of his 7 wills. Quote, the scholarships were merely a facade. You ever heard, press 1 in the chat, guys, if you've ever heard of a Rhodes Scholar. Rhodes Scholar, that's supposed to be somebody important, right? Press 1 in the chat if you've heard of a Rhodes Scholar, 2 if you've had not. Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. Press 1 in the chat. I want to know if you guys have ever heard of a Rhodes Scholar. Geez, how did I even type that? It's pretty good. All right, we got a lot of informed people here. All right, Rocky Lewis, thank you for being honest. Matthias, you rebel, you, Matthias. Oh, yeah, Mr. Universal in the house. All right, so we got a couple done. So a Rhodes Scholarship is a scholarship that was created for certain individuals who were rising stars, who were intelligent, but more importantly, able to do the bidding of the people like the Rothschilds, Cecil Rhodes, Alfred Milner, Milner's Kindergarten, and so forth. So Rhodes Scholars, Gina Raimondo, she's a Rhodes Scholar, right? So you see all these, Bill Clinton, all these famous people over here, he was a Rhodes Scholar. He got his PhD at Oxford, All Souls and Balliol. So this is 100% factual information here, guys. Again, the Anglo-American Establishment, Carroll Quigley's book, page 33. The secret society of Cecil Rhodes is mentioned in the first 5 of his 7 wills. The scholarships were merely a facade. Are you saying that Bill Clinton and Gina Raimondo are just a facade? To conceal a secret society, or more accurately, they were to be one of the instruments by which the members of the secret society could carry out his purpose. This purpose, expressed in the first will in 1877, was the extension of British rule throughout the world, the ultimate recovery of the United States of America. Page 34, in the third will, the sole trustee was Lord Rothschild. Interesting, right? So what you have here is you have a group of people Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Milner, Rhodes, and they're literally creating a secret society, and it's been documented. And they've unfortunately been bearing the fruit of what's been occurring today. These people have planned out today's world very, 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 very long ago. And it's one world, right? Page 49. The goals which Rhodes and Milner sought are almost indistinguishable. Both sought to unite the world, one world. Both felt this could be best achieved by a secret band of men, by control of journalistic, so they control. So let's talk about, they're saying the best way that they could create a one world is controlling journalistic, educational, and propaganda agencies. So journalistic. Well, we know that the media covered up for Jeffrey Wizard Salad. Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Lewis.
Yeah, man.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah,
Lewis.
we're following up. We actually did a report with that one, so we're gonna see what happens there. And for you guys that tuned in and donated earlier, you can also find Auditing American News on Cash App, Fake Mike Real News on Cash App. Thank you very much for that. But thank you for sharing. And like we covered last night, as we get more FOIAs in, we'll continue to address them. So Rhodes, Milner, Rothschilds, they thought the best way to create a one world was by controlling the journalistic, educational, and propaganda agencies. Well, controlling the journalism, you have 5 or 6 corporations that run everything you watch on TV. And then you have Vanguard and BlackRock. Thank you very much, Santos.
Thank you, Santos.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shout outs to Santos.
So you have BlackRock and Vanguard running all the things that you watch on TV. The people that run these things are elite corporations, some even involved with the military-industrial complex. Almost every single head of these are members of the Council on Foreign Relations. Council on Foreign Relations is a group which was created by these people after they created its sister group out in the UK, the Royal Institute for International Affairs. So then you also have Operation Mockingbird in the 1960s, in which the CIA spent over $1 billion worth of today's money to bribe and pay off journalists. So you got them on that point, right? They won on the journalistic control. Educational. Well, considering as I was never taught the Constitution in school, most people don't know about the Constitution. Most people don't know anything about finances. The educational system has completely failed us. We used to be one of the top educated countries in the world decades and decades and decades ago, and it's continuing to go down. So they've controlled the education, obviously. If you look at the General Board of Education, the Rockefellers, I've said that quote a bunch of times, but they basically wanted to mold our unyielding minds and not raise up any intellects from among them. That's their stated goal. And then propaganda agencies, that would be Hollywood. And don't forget the educational people like the Scroll Key, the Skull and Bones. Don't forget that Jeffrey Egg Salad had his own offices at MIT and Harvard. So they're completely in control of that. And then, as I was just mentioning, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, which is a geopolitical think tank created in England, and its sister agency, the Council on Foreign Relations here in the United States, almost every single president, regardless of Democrat or Republican, almost every head of the World Trade Organization, almost every head of the World Bank, almost every Secretary of State has been a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Gina Raimondo, Council on Foreign Relations. And it talks about here how, he said he was, like all members of the Milner Group, a member of the Royal Institute of International Affairs. So when you see that at the Council on Foreign Relations, and they're talking about the Council on Foreign Relations here, the American group of experts, the inquiry was dominated by J.P. Morgan and Company. Interesting.
Oh my God.
What? Everything good?
Yeah, somebody's in my chat, but this is weird. 1 second, guys.
Wow. That is weird.
All right, so
Okay, so, and this group also, because I've always talked about this here too, is the fact that these people, these bankers, so this is how it starts. I'm gonna give you the long and short of it, and we'll move on to some different quotes. and I could go back farther, but this group created in the mid to late 1800s, Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Milner, Rhodes, many other names as well too. They wanted to create one world. That's what it says in the Secret Society. It's what it says in the Rhodes Scholarships. So some of their same people and friends financed both sides of World War I. And at the end of it, they wanted to create a League of Nations, which would be the superstructure for a world government. It failed because the US Senate rejected it. Thank God they actually did something great, because it was a direct threat to our sovereignty. And then then after World War I, Germany was destitute. And they were rolling around wheelbarrows full of cash to buy a loaf of bread because the currency was so inflated. But interesting, because people wonder, well, how did Hitler get all this money? How were they able to, purchase the tanks, create a Luftwaffe, right? Well, here's one of them. In 1935, Lothian had a long conversation with Hitler. So members of this group were actually having conversations with Hitler in 1935. In the House of Commons in 1935, they have introduced a new world order. The fact that Chamberlain and this Chamberlain is also a member of this group, had a tete-a-tete conference with Hitler, right? And then here, Chamberlain, however, in his eagerness to make economic concessions to Germany, gave Hitler $6 million in Czechoslovak gold in the Bank of England. So you guys wondering how Hitler was able to achieve that power? Well, it's because this group right here. Do you guys watch other First Amendment auditors? I have heard of Bay Area Transparency. I'm so busy I haven't got a chance to check them out, but I've heard all good things. So you guys really press charges on somebody if yes? Well, sometimes we do. And Bart, thank you very much for that super chat and all the super chats you gave the other day. Thank you very much. If you want to direct donations directly Auditing America, $, Auditing America News on Cash App, $, Fake Mike Real News. That's a great question. Sometimes we'll just let them off with an apology. Sometimes we'll let them off with a warning. But sometimes they're so egregious, like what happened the other day, where we're like, hey, yeah, we're here to do a public records request. Are you filming? Are you filming? I start smacking. I was like, what about the First Amendment? I'll give you the First Amendment. So we're trying to follow up as best we can, but we're only two dudes, so it's difficult. I wish I had a personal assistant here to help me with other things, but I do have other litigation which is in the process of being adjudicated as we speak. So yeah, so then they finance Hitler. Both groups financed both sides of World War II. Rockefeller was actually in the White House illegally, unconstitutionally meeting with FDR and others during World War II to plan out the post-World War. Then the Rockefellers say, here's the United Nations. The League of Nations didn't work. We'll give you some land here. So do you guys see, are you guys, press 1 in the chat if you're catching my drift where I'm going with this. 1, if not, if I'm totally losing you guys, let me know, press 2. But that's what that's what's going on here, guys. And by the way, find Auditing America on Instagram, me on Instagram. I just put a spicy meme up on Instagram.
Nearly 200 of you here. Please hit the like button if you just started watching our live stream. That will greatly help us. So please, please, please hit the like button. Sorry about that, brother.
Here's a quote from Melissa Rossi from the book, What Every American Should Know About Who's Running the World. And I shared a meme before this where it said, oh, we got bin Laden and we're out of Afghanistan. That should mean that the Patriot Act's gone, right? Right? Well, it didn't happen. The Patriot Act is still here. And here's a quote about that very Patriot Act, which is just spying on Americans. I mean, bin Laden's gone, Afghanistan's gone. DK, Afghanistan's gone. Might as well get rid of this, but no. This is a quote from Melissa Rossi from her book, What Every American Should Know About Who's Really Running the World. Quote, the passage of laws, including the USA Patriot Act, which gave the government the right to violate our Fourth Amendment, the right to wiretap our phone conversations. They don't have that right. Read our email, demand sales records of our purchases, monitor our computer activity, and in other ways spy on U.S. citizens and foreigners without having to get a warrant or prove justifiable grounds for suspicion. And it's funny because I thought we got bin Laden. This is a quote from Ted Turner, founder of CNN in the United Nations supporter, quote, this is on video, if you can still find it, you'll probably have to duck with this. A total population of 250 to 300 million, a 95% decline from present levels would be ideal. And he's got all this land, he has a whole bunch of kids, but he doesn't want you to have kids. He wants to decrease the population. Interesting. And part of the reason we do some of this is because of this quote right here. And this is from Bertrand de Juvenal. A society of sheep must in time beget a government of wolves. And we've been too sheep-like for too long. We've been too sheep-like for too long, and that's why we have a government now of wolves. I got a whole bunch of great quotes in here. This is a great one from one of the best representatives that Congress ever had, Louis McFadden here. Quote, the Federal Reserve banks are the most corrupt institutions the world has ever seen. There's not a man within the sound of my voice who does not know this nation is run by the international bankers. Press 1 in the chat if you know that this world is run by international bankers. And I think someone gave a super chat. Oh no, let's see, let's get to your question. Thank you for the super chat, Gab. Yes, even before Nimrod, and you know, as a matter of fact, we've discussed it often here on this channel, the actual Bavarian Illuminati created in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt actually did infiltrate Masonic orders of the day, and it's in the Library of Congress, George Washington's letters, where he actually discusses the Illuminati after they were supposedly outlawed in 1793. And what the correspondence is dealing with is the fact that the Illuminati at that time were infiltrating Masonic lodges. Yep. Enrique just joined, but he doesn't know how to get the I symbol right. He's just joining, so. And let's see. I got too many here. And this is a great quote from Thomas Jefferson. Yes, I know Thomas Jefferson was a slaveholder, and he was an imperfect guy. But this quote is still very appropriate. So check out this awesome quote right here. Educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. And that's why Mr. America does what he does, guys. Because we want to educate and inform the whole mass of the people, because they are the only sure reliance of the preservation of our liberty. So that's why we're trying to go across and educate people, not just the people watching, but also the public servants, and also the people that are there as well, too. So great quote right there. And now here's another one of my favorite quotes right here, and it's on Martin Luther King Day. So injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So I'd like you guys to, after this, go check out my interview with Dr. Alveda King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece. Very, very good video. Who knows, that might even end up on this channel one day or later today, you never know. But yes, very important quotes by a lot of these people. Let's see. Now, this is from James Madison. James Madison himself is problematic, obviously. But if it wasn't for James Madison, we wouldn't have the Bill of Rights. So this is an interesting quote here. History records that the money changers, international bankers, have used every form of abuse, intrigue, deceit, and violent means possible to maintain their control over governments by controlling money and its issuance. Well, that's still going on to this very day. I think we go to veteran. What's this say? Where is Fort Campbell? And thank you for your service. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for sharing the video. But more importantly, thank you for your undying support for the U.S. Constitution and human freedoms. This is an interesting one from the CIA, former CIA director William Colby. And this quote says, we're talking about how they would go on to control the journalistic aspects of all these things. And he says that the CIA owns everyone of any significance in the major media. And here's a couple quotes from some of my favorite people in the world, Bill Clinton and George Bush. We'll start with Bill Clinton, Rhodes Scholar first. We can't be so fixated, we can't be so fixated on a desire to preserve the rights of ordinary Americans. Weird, because didn't you take an oath to that? And then George Bush says, there ought to be limits to freedom. Well, that's why he gave us those legal wars. That's why he lied about 9/11. That's why he gave us the Patriot Act and the NSA. This is a great quote. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this quote, but it's a very, very important quote. And this is why I'm telling you, you need to get active non-violently right now. In Germany, first they came for the communists. I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews. I didn't say anything because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists. I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics. And I didn't speak up because I was Protestant. Then they came for me. And by that time, there was no one left to speak up. Don't wait till it's you to get off your patootie and do something nonviolent. This is a great one from Mark Twain. Again, problematic, but a great writer. And this is so true. He was a very smart dude. I'll give him that. In religion and politics, people's beliefs and convictions are in almost every case gotten at second hand and without examination from authorities who have not themselves examined the questions at issue, but have taken them secondhand from some other non-examiners whose opinions about them were not worth a brass farthing. Here's a random one here. This is from Dr. Dean Burke, PhD, 34 years at the National Cancer Institute. Quote, in point of fact, fluoride caused more human cancer death and it caused it faster than any other chemical. One more fluoride-related one. This is from Dr. John Yamayani. We would not purposely add arsenic to the water supply. We would not purposely add lead, but we do add fluoride. The fact is, fluoride is more toxic than lead and just slightly less toxic than arsenic. And when you put a medication into the water, you can't control the dosage. Interesting, and everybody's biochemistry and physiology is a little bit different,